Glenn was a ranger here. Mrs. Tootsberry used to make a lot of jerky for the cowboys and stuff, and so they always bring her a quarter of beef, whatever, legal or illegal, and she'd jerky it out in that big screen porch where she had the house up there. And one evening, Earl Glenn heard, he was at the ranger station up there, they heard screaming and yelling and you know, just really somebody really fighting, and he grabbed his pistol and ran across the creek. And there was a 200-pound mountain lion laid out there, and Mrs. Tootsberry with the mouth handle, she killed it.
No kidding?
She beat the...
Oh no.
And the lion had ripped down the screen and came in to get some jerky. So Mrs. Tootsberry killed the lion with the broom handle. With a mop handle, big old thick mop handle. Anyway.
Wow. Wow, the people were so rugged back then. They were tough individuals. They had to be, like, you know. Yeah. You couldn't. Did you ever go to the one-room schoolhouse here? Did you ever go to school in the Crown King Elementary?
No, but my dad graduated from the 8th grade here.
Oh.
So your dad did, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
My dad had to get an 8th grade diploma so his older brother Willard could join the Marine Corps.
What was your dad's name?
Clifford Floyd.
Okay.
My grandpa was Floyd Douglas.
So he spent his childhood living...
He was... Well, they didn't have too much time to spend with him up there at the Towers Mountain, so he spent a lot of nights down here, and different people took care of him.
Really?
And he walked back and forth to school.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay.
the Mexican where the big house, where the house is over there and got the big rock wall in front of Rohinas's house, he was a Mexican that did a lot of the dynamite, and then he took care of my dad and the Nelsons and Ed Tootsberry. I mean Ed Van Tilburg that lived further down the road than Tony. So my dad spent a lot of nights down here as a kid and walked back and forth to school, to Crown King.
Wow.
Back and forth.
That would have been a long hike to get back up on that mountain.
5 miles, straight up.
Yeah.
But the best story there, you talk about rugged during the Depression when they didn't have gas. My grandma and my grandpa would walk down and go to the dance. Every Saturday night they had a big dance and potluck down here. Okay. Miners and cowboys and everything. And they'd dance and, of course, drink, and then they'd eat at midnight, and then my grandpa and my grandma would walk back up to the mountain.
Holy cow.
That amazes me, you know, how rugged they were. Nothing stopped them.
Just absolute. And I said, well, did you have any lantern or a light or anything? And Grandma says no, and when we stumbled onto a big rattler, Grandpa would take his pistol out of his belt, and the barrel would be warm because it'd be close to you. Put the pistol down on the ground, cock the hammer, and move it back and forth and move it toward the rattlesnake, and then pull the trigger and blow the snake's head off because the snake would follow into the warm pistol barrel.
He had some gumption, I would say.
Wow.
And
my
grandpa was one, I would like to use a cuss word now, but he was one big man. I'll bring you pictures later on. He shoveled coal in the Santa Fe from Silverton, New Mexico, up the Continental Divide. He shoveled coal for over 10 years on the Santa Fe Railroad.
Oh, wow.
He shoveled anywhere from 16 to 32 tons of coal a day on the helper engine. And I was boxing Golden Gloves when I was 18, and he come over and he grabbed hold of, and the throttle on the steam engines all the time, back and forth switching. He came over and grabbed my belt buckle and touched my head to the top of a 9-foot ceiling with one hand. And he said, when you grow up to be a real man, look me up.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
so, yeah.
That's interesting.
So anyway.
Well, it took those kind of people to settle this area.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's interesting.
It wasn't for the faint of heart to move up here, for
No,
sure.
I would have been back east still.
Yeah, Margaret would have got the first stagecoach back.
I would have.
That's cute.
Oh,
And my mom's best girlfriend, Betty White, her dad was the Sheriff White that was shot in Tombstone when the Earps was there.
really?
He's the sheriff that Ringo shot.
No
And
kidding.
he came over this road in a stagecoach on his way to Prescott and his way to Tombstone.
Who came over it?
The stagecoach rode to Crown King and Crown King to Prescott.
Okay.
So that was always interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Sheriff White, yeah.
Sheriff
He's the
White.
one that Ringo killed in the street. So
So that stagecoach route, that from
well,
here,
there's some of the roads still left down there.
is it up top like on the other?
Well, it went to the top and then came across.
Okay.
But there were the War Eagle Ridges. You can see part of the old stagecoach road on the other side of the mountain.
Really?
And then down below, when those bridges used to wash out, you used to go down to where the old stagecoach road was, down below there. There's just pieces of it now. But when those bridges were washed out, we'd have to take the big truck down in the wash and follow the stagecoach road up. Me and Grandma in the 49 one-ton Ford truck.
Your grandma was a tough lady.
Well, she was a sharecropper of 7 kids in Texas and Oklahoma, and she could handle 8 big mules with the big furrow plows behind her, and they say she could snap a rattlesnake's head off at 12 feet with a bullwhip, and plowed, and she finally, Dad died, her mom died first, and then her dad left. 7 kids, and she raised them all in a sod hut. And she finally quit one day plowing the wheat under, getting ready for winter, when her gloves froze to the reins. And she couldn't get them undone. She had to wait for the cowboys to come by with their knives and cut her frozen gloves off of the reins, and then she quit and went to town. So.
Wow. Wow.
And she was a crack pistol shot. She had a .38 she carried in her bib overalls.
Really?
Yep. And she never
bet
backed.
she was.
She never backed up for any of these yahoos deer hunting.
No?
No, no. No matter what they said, how much they cussed her out, you back up and turn around. I'm going by. Yeah. Pretty tough for an old gray-haired lady.
You're not kidding. No, she had to be.
How old did she live to?
She died of diabetes when she was, I think, 75, 76. Grandpa lived to 86. And he went like I want to went. He went out and split a wheelbarrow load full of oak in a wheelbarrow and came in and sat in a lazy boy chair and died. That's how I want to go.
Exactly. Not a bad way.
No hospitals, no doctors, no IVs.
Yep. Yep, that's
It's time, it's
understandable.
time. So,
Your information has really been interesting.
oh, a lot of stories, and I haven't told you some of the worst ones. I don't even want it on the tape. So,
Well, we appreciate you coming up and doing this. So we'll have to set a date, maybe a day that it's not hot, and go down the road when we can get Tony also.
yeah, I would like to go. How is Abby?
She's better, just bruised up, but she's okay.
She didn't hurt herself when she fell.
Not terribly. She's just very sore. She's okay.
Because that's the last thing my wife did before she passed. She fell down in the morning, and I got her up and I checked her out, and then I called the ambulance, and she passed away by 11 o'clock. But she had pancreatic cancer for about 2.5 years. It's kind of hard watching somebody die a little bit every day.
I bet.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but we went to Europe for over 2 weeks together, and we had a great time. Because my favorite, she said, "Where do you want to go in the world?" I said, "I want to go to Ireland and Scotland." And I had a great time.
That's nice.
Great time.
It's a wonderful thing that you got to do that together.
Great time. Went to Braveheart's castle.
Did you?
And I have real pictures of the statues what Braveheart really looked like, and all the battles with the British, and just. And Rob Roy was my hero. Have you ever seen the movie called Rob Roy?
I don't.
Where the big Scotchman has his big sword and he sticks it in the road and stops the stagecoach and says, "Stand and deliver."
You know, I've heard something like that, but I don't remember a movie.
Man, he took their belt buckles and their everything.
Did he? There's always been a few of them around since time began.
All right.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
Really appreciate you coming up.
well, my pleasure.
And we look forward to meeting with you again and continue. I think you could be really helpful, and it'd be great if you would help us.
And the sign, Brian has the name of the company, and he was supposed to fax you the order blank that I got, and I don't know how they got my name, but you can order mugs with that on it, you can order hats, anything you want. And he was supposed to have faxed you up the order blank and the name of the company, but he made that one for me for Father's Day for my train room.
I'll take a picture of it. It's got the label on the back.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna